Pyromaniac means to like someone who likes to complain a lot, and it felt like it kind of summarized the whole EP. Really was like all the songs is just me complaining about shit.
Hi everyone, I'm Yasmin Suman here with Abby Roberts for the latest in NME's In Conversation series. So I feel like everyone knows you from your success on TikTok as someone who's on the front line of beauty TikTok. You innovate the trends, you've gained millions of followers. Everyone knows you as the amazing beauty guru, Abby Roberts.
Hyping me up, man.
But now you're going into music and people might not know about that. So, I mean, first off, what made you want to go into music? Why now?
Yeah, I feel like because I've been doing makeup for so long, and since I was literally a fetus, like I started doing makeup online when I was like 11 years old, and so that's like 9 years now, I'm 20, wow. So I kind of just, you do it so many times and it's like, okay, it's the same thing over and over and over again. As much as I love makeup and like will always have such a place in my heart for it, I kind of just fell into it like on accident. Like my first video happened to blow up that I ever posted on YouTube, and it just kind of went from there, and I was like, I guess we're doing social media now. But I always loved music and loved listening to music, but never like grew up in a musical family. Like my dad was in a brass band, but don't quite qualify him to like teach me about how to write songs and stuff. So I kind of had no way into it or way to like teach myself. So I guess like the start of lockdown, really, I thought I kind of want to use this time to like explore stuff. Started teaching myself guitar and going to lessons and stuff, and I started doing music, and I love it so much.
Okay, that's interesting that your dad was in a brass band. So we won't see you doing any brass musician anytime soon.
Not anytime soon. I'm not a pro at the trumpet, unfortunately.
Sadly. So, how long has this been in the works? Like, I imagine during lockdown, or is this something you've been thinking about even before lockdown, like for a few years?
I mean, I always wanted to get into it, but I just got so sucked into doing the makeup stuff and the social media. People don't realise like how much work goes into it. It's not like I just film a little video. Like the type of stuff that I do, the makeup stuff used to take maybe 14 hours for like a makeup look sometimes. And you just don't get any time to have. Everyone's like, "What's your hobbies?" And I'm like, well, makeup, and more makeup.
Yeah, I spend my life online, and then when I'm not online, I'm posting about my life online.
Yeah, so I guess I like had a bit more spare time to look into doing it, and I just totally dedicated myself to it over the past 2 years now, and it's been hard having to hold on to it for that long, because obviously with social media, it's like you film something, post it straight away, but this has been like a work in progress for
because I imagine like, you know, with social media, you're very in control. You make the content, you put it out, you pick the caption, the hashtags, you pick what kind of makeup look you want to do that day. But with music, there's loads of different people involved, production, like mixing, everything along every step of the way, even up to the marketing. You don't have direct control of that. How has it been going into the music field where you don't get to... Because if that was me, I'd be like, I need to do everything or I'm gonna... Yeah.
Because I'm such a control freak. And
Same.
I'm like, especially going into like doing the music videos, I was like, I need to know everything. I need to know what every single scene is going to look like. And I want 100% of control over the creative, the idea. Everything that I do has to come from me, because if it's not like, it's not going to feel authentic, and I'm such a creative person, like, I just want to be as hands-on as I could be. So it's been difficult letting go of a little bit of control, but luckily I've got like a really good team around me to help with everything.
Okay. Well, you know, because you've got such a huge following online from doing your makeup looks, like you've got millions of followers on TikTok, and I feel like that can be really empowering, but also really nerve-wracking. Were you nervous at all going into this thinking, how would people receive my music? It's different to makeup. Are people going to like it?
It's definitely a bit of like a double-edged sword situation. Like, I'm so grateful for the platform that I've got, and, you know, like up-and-coming musicians would like die for that, and I would never throw that away. Like, I would never want to turn back on it. But on the other hand, there's like so much pressure put on me, and especially with like the music that's come out of TikTok already, I feel there's quite a stigma around it of like, oh, TikTok are going into music, like just for a bit of like a cash grab or whatever. But for me, it's so much more personal than that. Everything that I write about is like so deeply personal, and I'm like a bit scared to share that with the world. Like it's quite a vulnerable thing to put that out there.
Yeah, because you wear your heart on your sleeve with your music, and we'll dive into this in a second. It's not, you know, I imagine people would say, oh, it's TikTok music, but it is very personal, and it shows a side of you that people haven't seen before. Going into the music process, how was it realizing that, oh, people are going to see a side to me they probably have never seen before?
Yeah, it's difficult because, like, you know, you go into a studio and it's like, okay, here's this person you never met before, and you have to talk about like your deepest trauma with them. I'm like, okay. I think it is quite nerve-wracking seeing what people are like. Obviously, everyone's going to speculate about what it's about and what's the story, but for me, it was really therapeutic, like the whole process of getting to write about that. And there's a lot of my life that I don't share on social media. Like, I feel like I'm quite a private person. I don't want to be involved in the drama or anything like that. So me being able to channel that like artistically has been the best way for me, because there's so many things that like happen and you're like, oh my God, I want to tweet about this and like trash this person online. But it's so much better to just use that for good and make a good situation.
So it's been like free therapy, basically.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
But having such huge numbers online, because I keep talking about this, it's because there's so many people. And I think when you see it on your screen, it's like, okay, like 16, 17 million people. That's a lot, but you don't see every single person until you start touring. And I obviously hope you're going to start touring. Is this something you've battled with? Like, is this something you thought, oh my God, when I go on tour, are these 16 million people going to come watch me?
I'm shitting myself, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, I've not come from like a performing background at all. Like, I'm a little like artist who hides in my little cave of my bedroom and does everything like behind a screen. And I feel like that's quite often the case with like doing social media as well. Like, all of us are so freaking awkward, and like nobody actually wants to go out and put themselves out there quite like that. So it's been like a bit of a learning curve, definitely building the confidence to like perform in front of people and that kind of stuff. It's just a totally new world for me.
Yeah, because you've lived your life online and now you have to go outside and meet real people, and you're like, oh my God,
exactly.
What the hell?
Like when it's online as well, I think it's hard to completely understand that is real people. You just see the number and you're like, oh yeah, 16 million, but it's like 16 million, that's like a lot of people. And I'm like, are people gonna show up? I'm scared, what if nobody shows up? So it's quite nerve-wracking.
Yeah, it's weird. That feels like football arenas, which,
I'm scared.
not to scare you, but, you know, so diving into the music, you're releasing an EP later this year. What was the inspiration behind this? Why an EP instead of an album?
I think just like easing into it, like anything. You don't want to go in and like, this is my album, I'm a fully formed artist now. It's absolutely not like that, and that like wasn't the process at all. And I didn't just want to be like, guys, I'm a musician now, because I still do makeup, I still do all my other creative stuff. Like, I was an artist beforehand as well on paper, so it's not me like turning into something else. It's just an extension of Abby, really. Like, you just get to know me a bit better. So an EP was like an easy way for me to break into it a little bit. Just a taster of what's
just a little pinch of what's coming. Oh, okay. And then what was the inspiration behind all of that? I'm sure we're going to get into some of the songs specifically, but just generally, what was the inspiration behind this EP?
All of my problems, to be honest. I just dumped all of my trauma into it. Really,
you were
just
like,
put it all out there.
Boom, here you go.
I can ghost my therapist, but my producer, like, I'm sorry, no, you're gonna have to listen to all of this. So, yeah, I just went through quite a lot of stuff over the past few years. Got catapulted to like quite a spotlight through TikTok, and that led to some really amazing opportunities, but also some really shitty situations and people using you and being friends for the wrong reasons and all sorts of things. So it's really just delving into all of the drama of the past 2 years of my life, really.
Well, yeah, but that's so exciting, though. I know there's like a lot of emotional weight with that, but it must be exciting to finally get that out there in the world and be like, this is everything I've gone through, and I can finally speak about it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like something that, you know, I didn't want to share with people, but being able to brutally admit like the most horrible parts about what happened, but also about like what I've taken part in. Like, there's shit that I did that I'm not proud of, but being able to like admit that to yourself and put it in a song. And I think a lot of my music is quite like self-deprecating almost, and I think hopefully people can find sympathy in that.
Resonate with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Just a big self-hate club. So you're leading with the single Paramaniac. I almost called it Pyromaniac. It's Paramaniac.
I know, it's quite a tongue twister. Paramaniac, yes.
Paramaniac.
Yeah.
So what was the inspiration behind that song, and why did you choose to lead with that song?
Paramaniac was actually the song that we wrote last, so I felt like I went through this whole journey of like writing music, and that was the song that I was most happy with. I had the most experience like going into that, and just felt super confident about the whole concept of it. Paramaniac means to like someone who likes to complain a lot, and it felt like it kind of summarized the whole EP. Really was like all the songs is just me complaining about shit. in a good way, but I felt like it was a good summary of diving into my brain, my mental health, and all that kind of stuff. It was just a real stream of consciousness, and I felt like it represented me super well. So I thought it was the best one to lead with. Yeah.
Okay, and then also there was a song that really stuck with me off the EP, Cigarette Burns.
Oh,
I
really?
love that because it gave me such Lana Del Rey vibes.
Oh, thank you so much, man. That's
Like,
the biggest compliment you could give me.
The rest of the EP gave me like Badobi vibes, but that one was like, oh my god, Lana Del Rey, I love you.
Yeah, Lana has like been my biggest inspiration since day one. Like 2012, Born to Die came out, and like Abby was a Lana stan, like set for life.
You were on Tumblr, you had all the things
Literally.
retweeted.
Stuff like me looking out of a car window, like being like 12 years old. Like
I'm gonna buy a pack of
these old
Marlboro
men.
and date this old man. Yeah.
Literally.
Okay, but were there any musical inspirations, maybe Lana or anybody else who inspired you? Maybe in lockdown you were listening to different artists. Was there anybody in particular that you thought, oh my god, I want to make something like this?
I feel like I have quite like a diverse music taste, and I'm always trying to find new music and stuff, and even just revisiting old music. Like me and my sister are both like really into that. She's like massive Bowie fan, massive Queen fan, and in our family, like we grew up around Queen and stuff. Like my parents were like obsessed with that kind of stuff. But over lockdown, I guess I started like getting back into like Arctic Monkeys and stuff. So that was kind of an influence for the rockier side of things that's like sitting on the EP. But obviously Lana, I love like the subject matter that she talks about and how like emotional it is and how you can kind of connect to that as a listener. So yeah, I was definitely influenced by that.
You fully
as well.
regressed to 2014 Tumblr.
I did.
I did too. I was like, oh my god, I love the 1975
Yes.
and Neighbourhood.
Literally. Oh
That
my
was
God.
just me throughout the whole of lockdown. But also during lockdown, you learnt guitar.
I did.
Oh.
Not very well. Please don't make me play right now. But
Play Wonderwall. No, I'm kidding.
stop.
But you know, what was the process of learning guitar and learning music and getting into this through lockdown? Was there anything that you struggled with, or anything you learnt where you were like, oh, this is did not know this?
I think guitar for me came like before I knew that I wanted to ever like put music out there. I kind of just wanted to know how to play an instrument, because like who doesn't want to just be able to like pull out the guitar and like okay,
Serenade someone just randomly. Yeah,
it was slightly more difficult than I anticipated. So I started like going to lessons, and I found that it was really helpful for me, like being able to go into a session and using the like knowledge that I had about the guitar to be like, actually I want you to play a bit more this way, or use these chords, or I find that this range like suits my voice a lot better. So that really helped me in like actually producing the music to start with as well.
Okay, so through the process of learning music, you kind of understand more about what you wanted as a musician and the kind of stuff that you wanted to put in your EP.
Exactly, and it's like just having no sort of musical training or background really. I kind of have to learn the basics to be able to do a better job. So,
yeah. You know, you spoke earlier about the whole stereotype of, TikTok musicians, and I've seen it a lot. Whenever anybody makes it on TikTok and then goes into a musical career, there can be that stereotype and stigma. I think it's more poignant around women in music who are very emotional. How do you feel about that? Like, because now you've got the likes of Olivia Rodrigo, Willow Smith, so many amazing icons who are very emotive and very open with their feelings. Do you feel like in the music industry and in the music space, women are able to express themselves at this point?
I think actually there's been like so many amazing female artists, like as you just mentioned, like massive fan of Olivia, and she's like been such an inspiration to me lyrically as well, and just how like vulnerable and open she is in her lyrics. Like that really inspired me, especially on like Pyromaniac and stuff. Totally obsessed with her. And like speaking about the TikTok stuff, I think there's this stigma, right? But it's like, because you're a TikToker, nothing can be wrong in your life, and nothing is going on behind the scenes that we don't see in this 15-second video of you on TikTok. So I think there's a lot bigger parts to my life that I haven't like shown online, and same for like literally everyone on the app. Like you don't want to show the ugly shit that's going on in the background. Like, you want to show the best bit that makes your life look amazing, and that's what people seem to have this idea of.
As relatable as it would be to see you being like, I'm crying and eating pizza.
I mean, that's my spam account.
Yeah.
You can catch that there. Yeah.
But, you know, having such a huge TikTok following can be very empowering, very, like, as a young woman, you can be like, I've done this all by myself. Like, no one has helped me. I did that. I posted that. I filmed that at 2:00 in the morning. That was me. But it can also be really daunting knowing that many people have access to your life.
Yeah.
And I wonder, going into music, was it kind of frightening at all knowing that you were going to put a whole new part of your life out there in the world that people can criticize and can comment on?
It was really scary because I was like, if I talk about someone, like, obviously everyone's going to have ideas about who it's about and stuff. And I'm like, do I want to have to deal with that? Because already, like, having your life on social media, people want to know everything, like the ins and outs of your relationships, and Twitter can be like a really toxic place for that. And Abby did not get into a good headspace over lockdown reading all the comments about herself.
Did anyone?
So yeah, I'm nervous for what people have to say about the music, but also like I'm so totally confident in those feelings. Like, if you're gonna write about someone and put them in a song, like, you gotta be confident you're freaking saying it, because you can't really go back on it after that point. And no, I feel really sure about my emotions and the way that I felt at the time and still feel. So I'm confident.
It must have been really validating though, because I feel like sometimes you can question yourself online and be like, am I the bad person? When everyone's saying, oh, Abby this, Abby that, you're terrible. How dare you do that thing you didn't even know that you did? I feel like you can get in that mind of being like, what if it was me? What if I'm the bad person? But
what if I'm the drama?
What if I'm the problem? But I imagine making music and being able to vent that as openly as possible must have been validating to know that actually I'm not the problem. Other people fucked me over.
But even being able to like criticize yourself and say that in a song, like, nothing has to be perfect. And I think I kind of worked myself up going into it, like, oh, everyone has these songs and it's so like perfect and like one-sided. But people like Olivia, who are like bringing these ideas of like calling herself out on like her jealousy or whatever, like, it's so relatable. And I love hearing people just be like honest about it. It's great.
Yeah, you love people being like, maybe I'm the villain. It's me. So, you know, you, because of your amazing career, have collabed with the likes of Youngblood and lots of other amazing musicians by doing their makeup. I wondered if you ever thought about collabing with them in terms of music.
I mean, I would love to eventually like start to work with people in the studio. I feel like I needed to fully come into myself as an artist before I started bringing other people in there, especially for the first EP anyways. I was kind of like, I want to establish myself, not bring anyone else at all into this, and just completely be like, this is Abby before we start collaborating. But yeah, hopefully for like the next project we can definitely start working on some stuff.
Any dream collaborations? Literally anyone in the world, if you could collab with anyone, who would it be?
I have a list.
Okay, go ahead.
Right, I love Gorillaz. I'm obsessed so much, and they do some really interesting collaborations, like the stuff they did with Kali Uchis and the whole Song Machine stuff. Yeah, I'm like obsessed with. Arctic Monkeys. Don't think they ever would, but like, oh my god, is that not the dream?
That would be iconic.
And of course, like, I love Lana, love Billie Eilish, my idols. So
that would be goals. That would be literal goals. I think you would take down the internet if that happened.
Hope so.
But finally, you know, I wonder, putting this EP out in 2022, what are your hopes for it? How do you think people receive it, and what kind of impact do you want it to have?
I mean, I hope it does well, man. I've been working on it for a long time. But again, it is just like the very start of all of this. I have such like big plans for the future and all the next stuff, and I feel like I've already developed so much as an artist since like the time that we wrote all this last stuff. So I'm just kind of excited for the future, see what it brings, see how people react to it. I'm interested to see like what people have to say. So yeah.
It is exciting. I can't wait for it. Okay, but if you could summarize it in 3 words, any 3 words, to give people a teaser of what's to come.
The whole EP. Chaotic.
Oh my god.
Drama. And crying. Like, you gotta have a good cry.
Mood. Well, that's all
There we
that's
go.
all to discuss. Thank you for joining me, Abby. And again, your new EP comes out sometime this year, so keep an eye out for it.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
No problem.